Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Virgo energy, and like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Virgo energy, the bottom row a more worldly, shadowy Virgo energy. We've all got our dualistic nature of free will. We have to make decisions in our life. Some people could be battling within themselves right now. They might want to move forward in life differently, but we have to work through. The bottom row can represent our shadow nature of our fears and our insecurities and our self-limiting beliefs and things like that. Oh, that's too many. To live our life differently. We might have to detach from certain habits or people in our life or jobs, and that can all be scary. And some people aren't battling within themselves. Some people already made a decision to move forward in life differently, and they are. When they decided to move forward in their life differently, maybe some other people weren't ready to move forward, and with most people in our life, that's okay. You live your life, I live my life. We're on kind of different pages, view life differently. Virgo energy can be about what our long-term goals are, if we want to heal and grow and mature ourselves, if we're kind of more about ourself or the world, or if we are more about getting out of our ego, learning lessons. And we all go through different stages of life. And sometimes when we're kind of have freed ourselves from some things that used to manipulate us and we're ready to move forward in life differently, some other people aren't. Most of the people in the world were like, hey, that's fine. I can relate. Been there, done that. You do you, I'll do me. And a lot of those people wish you peace, love, and joy, but I'm not ready to move forward like that yet. It's more of a problem if it's someone that we're like, we loved a job we wanted to stay at, someone in the job left, or we're in a friendship or relationship with people, and we were hoping we were going to keep working together and working through whatever issues we had to work through, but they're not moving forward with us in that way. Then it can be challenging. Let's go look at the top row. The reason for the top row's reading is the snowflake card, which is the Aquarius energy, and it's also the reason why the reading came out for the top row. Aquarius energy, also represented by the star card. It can be that we view life differently. Some people are more about themselves or looking like a shining star in the world, and that's what kind of drives and motivates them. Other people look at life from a higher perspective, don't make their life more about conforming to the world. They listen to their intuition. They could have more hope and faith and belief in themselves or in others or in love. Or we just have different dreams. And again, who and what we want to invest our time, energy, and effort into is different, kind of what drives and motivates us. So then we have the illness card, short illness, the change card, the high honor, and the disconnection. Both of these cards have feminine figures with red hair. I mean, I suppose for some of you, you could be dealing with people like that. But I view this card over here as like the Six of Wands Leo energy. And Leo energy in high vibe, we're either more motivated and inspired to love and believe in ourselves, or we're kind of more operating from our ego. When we have people in our life who we wanted them to move forward with us and that we'd keep working together and they're not, it can put us in our ego a little bit. That's more shadowy Leo energy. And it can have us in our ego for a bit. But high vibe people offer love to the situation. The change card with the vehicle on it, of course, reminds me of the Chariot card, which is Cancer energy. I can realize that some people have their own fears, insecurities, self-limiting beliefs, things in their life and within them that manipulate them. And we've all been there. So I'm going to offer love to the situation, that I might be ready to move forward in life, harnessing a more high vibrational Leo energy and Virgo energy. Virgo energy is about learning lessons, and you have to get out of your ego or your defensive nature, immature nature, to be willing to learn lessons and move forward in life differently. And we all could have been more fired up about the world, had more things that used to manipulate us. But as we move forward in life and have hope and faith and belief in our dreams, and we see the truth that it is about love. Love is what makes it all worthwhile. It starts within me. I have to learn to love myself. That's how I view High Vibe Leo, that we work through our inner conflict and about these things that manipulate us to offer love to the past, offer love to ourselves, accept that everybody is where they're at. I'm not going to let the fact that I have been more immature, I offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness to accept I had lessons to learn. I get out of my ego or my shame, and I move forward in life differently. The only person I can change is me. Everybody else has to do that within themselves until they're ready to detach from their more worldly, egoic nature, or past pain, heartbreak, fear, insecurities, or maybe indulging their more immature worldly nature of maybe being more about themselves or something. I offer love to the situation, and I wish them peace, and I kind of move on with my life. Can I be a loving and encouraging person to lots of people in the world and in my life? Yes. Am I going to want to kind of keep moving forward with you, more involved in a relationship? No, because our dreams are different, and kind of what motivates and drives us is different. We're kind of not on the same page. I'm inspired by love. You still might be more inspired by yourself or other people or things of the world, or being more about yourself. And until you learn to love yourself and kind of get out of shadowy Leo energy, can be your competitive nature, your prideful nature, your self-defensive nature. I wish you peace and love, but in the disconnection card, that card kind of reminds me of the Scorpio death card, because when we offer truth and love and try to offer truth and love and inspiration to people in our life to move forward with us, to bring a dream into reality, we all have to be willing to emotionally disconnect from kind of an old way of living life. You know, if people are still hung up on someone else they still want to be in a relationship with, well, then you're not ready to move forward with me, because the death card in Scorpio talks about letting an old situation be over and emotionally detached from it to give birth to something new. Letting go of that old dream to give birth to the new dream. And same way, we have a way of living life. If I used to live my life viewing life a certain way and living life a certain way, but I realized it might be more about being more influenced by pride and ego and image and status, but it's not really bringing my dream into reality, and I maybe not living my authentic truth. It might look good by worldly standards, but I think there's more to life than just having these things of the world. And High Vibe Scorpio is, I am this emotionally complex human being, and I do have my own unique dreams and aspirations. And I want to pursue those things. And if the people in my life are willing to be encouraging and supportive while I'm in relationship with them, for me to go pursue those dreams with them, because I would like these people to come with me, whether they're friends or family or romantic interests, right? But they have to be, they don't have to view life the way I view it. But there's certain ways of being and interacting in friendships and relationships that I might not want to repeat those patterns anymore. And maybe it could have been where I was kind of the loving and encouraging person to people who are looking for someone to be loving and encouraging, but they never do the work within themselves to kind of be that person within themselves. So I always have to play that role in their life. And they want to keep moving forward, me playing that role in their life. And it's like, no, I need you to get inspired to love and believe in yourself, work through those issues that manipulate you so that we can move forward where we're kind of in a more just and fair and balanced relationship. So it kind of makes me think of like parents with children, right? And where a child, who could be an adult child, wants you to keep playing the certain role in their life. It's like, you're an adult now, honey. You need to learn to take over that role within your own self, just like I had to learn to take over being my own best mother, father, coach voice to myself, and to love and believe in myself and work through my past issues and my past pain and heartbreak to be free of those things so I could give birth to my dreams. You need to do that within yourself. And then we can get just in relationships with people who, because you're a loving, nurturing, encouraging person, or it looks like your dreams are going to come into reality in some way, that you're moving forward in life differently, they want to look like they're moving forward in life differently. So they want to come with, but they're not in that energy. I was like, well, Virgo energy is about putting in work and effort, learning lessons, growing, healing, and maturing yourself. But some people want reward without effort. So some people could have still more caught up in the world, more about ego or image or something, or themselves. But because you look victorious or successful, they could want to come with you because it benefits them. Or because you're a loving and encouraging person, it's great to be in a relationship with you. It's good for their ego or their image. But they're not really that type of person themselves. And it's like, my idea of the dream relationship isn't that. It's to be in relationships with other people who have done that work within themselves, that together we're both ready to move forward in life differently. We've both detached from our more codependent or worldly or egoic view of life and repeating these certain patterns of ways of viewing life or relationships. And we're both inspired to have hope and faith and belief in ourselves, in others, in love, but to work with people who are in that same way of viewing life. And so high vibe Aquarius is kind of stepping outside of societal norms to bring needed change to the world, or we're never going to give birth to anything new, right? And for some people, that's not how they view life. And that can be when a relationship ends, because they have this way of viewing life and relationships, and they wanted you to move forward with them in maybe a more codependent energy. And I kind of use that analogy between a parent and a child. Sometimes we get ourselves in more codependent relationships, and we can look to other people, and they like us to look to them as, you should move forward with me, and you should look to me to be the loving and encouraging, stable, balanced person in your life. And at one time, you could have. But then you did do this work within yourself to be in that energy yourself. And then you wanted to detach from this more imbalanced or more codependent relationship dynamic where we're both on the same page. And that's when some of the people are like, oh no, you changed. I was willing to be a loving, nurturing, supportive person in your life. It's good for and that's when you kind of find out it is more for their ego or their image and their status or how it makes them feel, but they don't really want to be in a relationship with someone who heals and is ready to move forward in life differently, because they could like to be in relationships where it stays in this relationship dynamic. Well, no, you were always supposed to look to me and be more codependent on me. Well, darn, you healed and you're ready to move forward in life differently, and I don't like that. And then they want to go repeat this relationship dynamic with someone else. So sometimes some people can be, and that's why you would have been drawn and attracted to them, is because they do seem like very loving, nurturing, supportive, encouraging people. You just didn't realize that once you could have healed and grown and matured yourself and are ready to move forward in life together in a more just and fair and balanced way, that was never what they wanted. They wanted you to keep staying more codependent on them, or they in turn wanted to stay more codependent on you, or they really tried to present themselves as high vibe Virgo, where I'm not more about the world, I'm not more about myself, I'm not more about ego and image. No, I have hope and faith and belief and love. I'm willing to step outside of societal norms to be more authentic and quit making my life more about these things of the world. But then you find out that those things really still manipulate them. And they really are kind of more about themselves or their ego or their image or the world. And then when it comes to detaching from things that manipulate them, their ego, their fear, other people in their life, making their life more about ego and image, and that being the reason why you stay in the relationship, and they kind of realize they're not willing to shine their authentic light in the world. High vibe Leo and high vibe Aquarius is living your authentic truth, quit letting more ego or image or codependency or the world or other people in your life manipulate you. And high vibe Virgo is being independent. And some people are more codependent on other people in their life, like friends or family members, but they want to be in a relationship with other people because, needless, if they're their friend group or their original family group, they can't, marry those people, right? Or be in a relationship with them. And they get in relationships with other people, but they're unwilling to more emotionally detach from being more codependent on those other people in the world. And they were hoping you wouldn't love and believe in yourself, and whatever and whoever manipulates them in a way to stay in more codependent energy, they thought you would give up your dreams and move forward with them in a relationship because it looks good, it looks victorious and successful, but you realize they're just not more independent. And that if those other people in their life were to tell them, well, I don't like that person. I think they're trying to get you to kind of be more independent. And I don't like that. And you should quit aligning with them. And you should end a relationship with them. And you should come on back and align with us and make your life more about us. That's when you kind of see the truth that that's kind of more their primary foundation in their life. And that if you were to keep moving forward with them, you basically have to let those people be like a third party in your relationship. And you want truth and love and being more independent to be the third party in your life. And so some people have already done the work to distance themselves from those people, detach from those people. We can detach from some people, but then it takes time to work through the emotional confusion of it and to work through our inner conflict about it and work through letting that old dream go, to believe in ourselves and move forward in life, believing in ourselves and believing in our dreams, and just working through that. I could have wanted a dream to come into reality with those people, but seeing the truth, because the truth sets us free, that my dream couldn't come into reality with them as long as they have those things that manipulate them within themselves and in their life or the world. And we offer our self-love to work through all that. And then this looks like a younger feminine figure, which could kind of represent our more codependent energy. And this looks like a more mature emotional figure. And the whole process was to help us emotionally mature ourselves and maybe forced us to take over this role and get out of more codependent energy of looking to people outside of us to play that role, and for us to learn to play that role within ourselves of being a loving, nurturing, and supportive and encouraging and compassionate, aligning like with our higher self and being in that energy within ourselves and aligning with our more hopeful, believing nature than maybe our more fearful, insecure, codependent nature. And then as we do that work within ourselves, then emotionally we've kind of really detached. So the first phase of a relationship, of something ending, is that people realize I need to distance myself from this because there's something that's not just and fair or healthy about it in the short illness card. But then as we do, then we have to do this work within ourselves. These are three feminine figures, and the feminine figures, again, can talk about how we think and feel. And then when we're ready, It's like emotionally, we tell ourselves, that's a masculine figure, and the masculine figures in tarot can represent how we're presenting ourselves in the world, the action that we're taking in the world. Emotionally, we are ready to detach from an old way of living life, viewing life, certain relationships that we were in, and we're ready to move forward to bring that dream into reality. And just like you could be doing that in your life with certain people in your life, there's other people in your life who are doing this work with you and are moving forward with you in this way. And there's just other people in the world that could be going through similar experiences just like you. And then as we move forward, it's believing that if I quit investing my time, energy, and effort into ways of living my life, viewing my life, habits, patterns, people in my life, it frees me up to go find the people in the world who are more on the same page as me. And I'm going to keep investing time, energy, and effort into the people in my life who do work together with me in a more emotionally balanced, authentic, loving way, who encourage me to keep loving and believing in myself, just like I encourage them to keep loving and believing in themselves. We have free will. We can choose to align with the people who are loving and encouraging, who aren't trying to manipulate us or keep us in more codependent energy, or we can hang out with the people who do. And high vibe people are choosing to love and believe in themselves and more emotionally invest their time, energy, and effort into other people who seem more emotionally balanced and inspired by truth and love than kind of more shadowy energy. So let's go look at the bottom row. We have the Great Wall. Oh no, the Great Water. So that can maybe kind of represent Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio energy. Some people emotionally, and we too at times of our life, we can let our loving nature, we got lessons to learn in love, and at the big picture, we kind of refer to God and the devil. God represents healthy love, loving and believing in you, being encouraging. We can harness that energy within ourselves. Other people can harness that energy within themselves. But we have to learn that love also, in the change card, being like the chariot card of Cancer energy, it is supposed to be balanced. How are you going to run a chariot or a vehicle down the road if two of the tires are aired up with truth and love and the other ones are flat? Because they haven't learned these lessons yet. You're going to go around in circles because the big tires are going to move the car and the flat tires are going to kind of stay where they're at. And so some people could have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship that is kind of caught up emotionally in illusions, and they just have some lessons to learn to work through their illusions about relationships. Because some people think, well, no, can't I be more immature or bossy or manipulative or immature and you're going to love me? I've had other people who indulge me in my poor behavior. It's like, I might have also indulged you in your poor behavior and I'm done. You can always have hope and faith and belief that other people will transform, is what the Scorpio death card talks about. But we can't make other people. They have to make their own free will decision. And when we keep seeing over and over that people aren't willing to do this work within themselves to get more emotionally balanced, to work through their illusions about relationships, and that they do maybe need to heal and grow and mature themselves and maybe become more independent, they're going to keep repeating this pattern. And other people could have learned lessons letting their loving nature run their life. And then, again, the opposite sign of Virgo is Pisces. And we have the fish card here that kind of represents Pisces. You can be a very loving and encouraging person to people, and we can go out to the edge being loving and encouraging to people. And we realize it got us too far off center. When is enough enough? And we kind of realize with some people, enough is never enough. You can be loving and encouraging. You can be supportive. And it's never enough, because it's never going to be enough until they decide to love and believe in themselves work through their issues to free themselves from it. And you can be a very loving, giving, nurturing person, but high vibe people have learned love is supposed to be just and fair and balanced. And if I want my dreams to come into reality, I need to be in relationships with people who are inspired to deal with the truth, because Leo energy, also represented by the sun, people have to see the truth of how they operate more from their immature, egoic nature and temper with love to get more balance within themselves. And that if they want to move forward with more emotionally balanced, loving people, they have to be a more emotionally balanced, authentic, loving person and detach from their more immature, egoic, manipulative, self-pity, whatever ways of being. And I need to quit. It's a disservice to me and it's a disservice to other people to indulge poor behavior in myself and indulge poor behavior in others. If people can find people who are willing to indulge them in a relationship, yeah, this is my idea, the dream life. Let's keep doing this. This works for me. But eventually the high vibe people don't want to keep doing it anymore. And some people who keep having this illusion about relationships that I can just present myself as loving, I can just present myself as being more authentic or bold or brave or confident, like I'm really going to bring that dream into reality, but it keeps not happening. Eventually the high vibe people in their life see it keeps not happening. And eventually the high vibe people see I have been putting work and effort to move it forward. And I kind of see that you kind of create the illusion, because you're either being authentic and honest, like in the Sun card, illuminating the truth, and you really are who you say you are. As it would be also like high vibe Virgo. Or you're just trying to create the illusion that you do, but you don't. And you're kind of using my desire for these things and my love that I have for you and whatever to manipulate me. And I'm done. So some people could just be seeing the truth of it. For other people who both like to create the illusion that they're more high vibrational than they are, want people to view them as these more emotionally stable, inspired, balanced, truthful, honest. I'm not more about ego and image. I'm not more about me. I'm not more driven by those things. If they can find someone where they're equally kind of willing to indulge each other, they'll try to move forward and create the illusion that they're in a relationship based on truth and love, but it's just creating the illusion of it. And other people kind of see the truth of it, that, I think you guys are more equally immature or self-indulgent or materialistic. I think you both wear very good false masks. I think you're both more superficial and shallow and not really very authentic. Can you seem like very loving, nurturing, supportive people in the world? Yeah, but is it authentic? Or is it this image you try to present, but you're really kind of full of yourself or caught up in yourself, or it's all about trying to get people to view you a certain way? And the people who are more aligned with their intuitive, loving nature see the difference between people. And it's like, you can go create that illusion with someone else. I don't care to invest that much time, energy, and effort into you. And then that could bother those people because, well, I acted like this and I dressed like this and I talked like this and I do all these things. Why don't they view me that way? Because it has to be authentic. If you're an authentically loving, nurturing, it's not putting on a show. Look at me and look how I act and look how I dress and people should view me this way. You just are who you are. And people can tell the difference between, well, at least some people can, the people who are putting on a show and the people who it is authentically who they are. So in the bottom row, we have the ending card, which is kind of like the Scorpio death card, the fish, the Sith, which is kind of like the death card again, but this card says Libra. And then we have a card not showing itself, which is the bear card. So this bear card references Taurus energy. There's people in the world. Taurus energy can be, I want to have a certain image and status in the world. I want people to view me a certain way. I want people to view me as this just and fair and emotionally balanced, stable person. I'm not selfish. I'm not greedy. I'm not prideful. I'm not more about myself. I'm not more egotistical or whatever. High vibe people are people who harness high vibe Taurus energy who walk the talk. They really are who they say they are. And some shadowy people try to create an illusion that they're more just and fair and that they walk the talk, but they don't really walk the talk. And the bear card in some other tarot decks can kind of refer to as like loving mothering energy. And they try to present themselves in the world as these loving people so that people will get in relationship with them and keep moving forward with them in a relationship and view them a certain way. And then they have a certain status or image, but they don't really walk the talk. They harness shadowy Taurus energy. It's more driven by how it benefits them. If you're an authentically loving person, you're just, it bubbles out of you, you know. I mean, it doesn't mean that it has to bubble out of you with everyone, you know, because there's a time and a place and you don't know certain people. Doesn't mean you have to be really outgoing. But the people that you are in relationship with, you really are a loving person and you freely give of yourself. This is more transactional, conditional giving. Well, so I will present myself as a loving, nurturing person to get you to move forward with me in a relationship. I want to look like I've moved on. I want to look like I've grown and healed. I want to look like, you know, I moved on and I'm like, got some things like other people have in the world. But they really haven't. Because they have the same philosophy of life. Taurus is about philosophy of life. They have the same philosophy of life that they had before. Because they didn't do this inner work within themselves in their Virgo nature to incorporate a truth into the way they make decisions in life. So they keep thinking, no, 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 I don't really have to walk the talk. I just have to create the illusion I walk the talk. That I am this just and fair and stable and grounded and loving person. I don't operate from my ego. I'm not defensive. I'm not more about myself. But they are. And they still have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. It could be... They could just be more emotionally shallow, superficial people. Might like to live more from their mind than their heart. Maybe think both Libra and Aquarius are air sign energy. And then operating more from their egoic, defensive nature to love. I don't really have to do love. If I do love, then I'm emotionally invested in something and I get hurt. I don't really want to do love. Plus, that actually takes putting in work and effort from love. I think I'll just create the illusion that I'm willing to put in work and effort. And then I'm not really more emotionally invested. And if it doesn't work out, oh well, that ended. I can move on. That didn't work out the way I wanted. I'll just go get in a relationship, more fish in the sea. You know, they don't ever really get more emotionally invested. So long as it works for their ego and image, they can get what they want out of it. It's like indulging themselves in a relationship. For some people, because one relationship didn't work out the way they wanted, they could decide, you know, I'll just go create an illusion with someone else. That'll work. I just need to go get in a relationship with someone else. But if you haven't worked through emotionally, again, high vibe Scorpio talks about doing this work to deal with the truth. Why did that relationship maybe not work out? You know, some people don't want to see the truth, that they do have these illusions about relationships. They could have a certain status or image in the world. They look like they have justice in the world, and then they're confused why other people don't want to be in a relationship with them. Well, I put in this work and effort to have a certain status, look a certain way, blah, blah, blah. Why don't these people want to stay in a relationship with me? Because that's what they don't get. There's more than what you look like and what you act like and what you wear. But that can be how they view life, and those things are valuable to them. They could be caught up in the illusion of the world. Well, I have these certain things. I look this certain way. I have this certain status or image or power or influence. Yeah, other high vibe people have some of those same things. And they are not caught up in the illusion that just because they're attractive or charming or have status or power or social clout, that people should want to stay in a relationship with them. Those people have been enlightened to the truth that it is about love. And some other people just don't get it. It's like, well, I look like love, I crack like love, I dress like love, or because I have these certain things, people should want to be in a relationship with me. I look like I have justice in the world. It's like, yeah, but there's two cards of like death on either side of you. You don't give birth to anything new. You might want to indulge in love, is what a kind of more shadowy Pisces energy that people can have. People love love. I love to get in relationships. Oh my God, it's so great to get in a relationship. But then if it requires them to get more balance within themselves, to maybe work through their kind of more immature views of life and relationships, oh well, no, then the relationship ends. No, I don't want to be more balanced. I don't want to deal with the truth. I like to stay in denial of the truth. I might be more immature. I might be more selfish, prideful, egotistical, manipulative. I don't want to see the truth of it, so I want to keep living in denial. I could view myself as a certain type of person, and no one's going to change my mind, even though reality could keep showing them over and over that that's not the truth of who you are. But if people aren't willing to see the truth of who they are, they don't want to see the truth of who they are. Some people could be narcissists. That's like shadowy Scorpio and shadowy Aquarius. I'm full of myself. Shadowy Leo. I'm kind of full of myself. Anybody can harness these traits and characteristics of all these zodiac signs in a more emotionally mature, stable, grounded, loving way and balanced way. Or they kind of think if I present this way in the world, and if I have this certain status or image or whatever, then I'm under this illusion that I can just keep manipulating people about the truth of who I am. And some of the people who get in a relationship with me might find out more of the truth, but other people are still kind of caught up in the illusion, and I can always go manipulate someone who doesn't know me as well, and I'll just repeat this pattern all over with them. Well, the only problem is, it's like hoping other people don't grow up and mature themselves and learn lessons in life, because some of these shadowy people don't want to heal and grow up and learn lessons in life. And as time goes by, less and less people can be manipulated the way they could have been manipulated when they were younger. So then some people have to keep going and getting in relationships with people who are younger and younger, because those people still have some lessons to learn about people like this. And they're still looking to find people who are more caught up in the illusion of who they are, or just finding new people, if not younger. I'm going to go find someone who could have experienced an end to a dream, who might be sad. And I'll repeat this pattern with them. I will present myself, and in a lot of ways, I can be a loving, nurturing, supportive, encouraging person in people's life. But I don't want to align with my more emotionally intuitive, hopeful, believing, loving nature. We should get in the relationship, stay in the relationship. This looks just and fair. Let's keep doing this, and we'll never give birth. Like, the relationship won't really grow and mature over time and be more authentic. It kind of stays at whatever level of kind of emotional maturity that they're at. But you can get in relationships with people who are sad, and they could be a high vibe person. They're just going through a hard time. Well, then they get in a relationship with these people, and they are motivated and inspired for the relationship to grow and mature over time and become high vibe Scorpio, more deep and meaningful. And that's what things do. Things grow and mature over time. And then these people are like, oh, well, now I need to end the relationship with you. Because I was looking for someone who is willing to stay in this phase of the relationship maybe forever. And I was hoping that even when you did realize that I don't have the same philosophy of life as you do, I created the illusion that I was more motivated and inspired to maybe act with character and integrity and from love, but I was hiding that I kind of have this illusion that if I just present myself this way, you'll keep staying in the relationship with me like forever. But eventually, over time, you kind of realize I am a little bit more emotionally shallow and superficial, and maybe kind of more emotionally immature. And I just like to indulge myself in the relationship. So long as it's good for my ego and my image, I'll stay in it. But if you really want me to be more just and fair and balanced and detach from this way of viewing life or living life or viewing relationships, no, I'm not willing to do that. And that's when other people move on from them. And other people have a hard time kind of emotionally detaching because they thought this dream was going to come into reality. They did really emotionally invest themselves, and they really had viewed these people as being more just and fair and balanced, and didn't view them as being more about themselves or ego or image. And that Scorpio energy is it's hard to work through all of that. But the high vibe people offered 2 cards of emotional water sign energy. They offered love to themselves and to the situation, to want to get to the truth of it and make peace with it so it didn't keep stopping them from moving forward and believing in themselves, believing in their dreams, trusting other people. I had to learn that there's people in the world who wear very good false masks. And kind of like I can't have my divine inheritance because it could be stolen away from me if I hadn't learned this lesson in life. So I'm willing to look at this as a lesson, and part of it again could have made to get me out of more codependent energy, get me more from being caught up in the illusion of the world, to get me more inspired to feel more balanced just within myself and to love and believe in myself, where I'm no longer looking for someone to play that role in my life, a more imbalanced or codependent relationship, like looking outside of myself for someone to love me. I love me, and I'm looking for other people who have learned to love and believe in themselves, who are out of more codependent energy, and I don't want to be in a more codependent relationship anymore. And now I love and believe in myself, and I've learned to listen to my intuition and love to guide the decisions I make in my life. And I'm going to live my authentic life from truth and love, not trying to just treat other people the way I like to be treated. Walking the talk, acting with character and integrity. I'm no longer going to indulge. When I indulge my more immature, fearful nature, I get in relationships with people who are happy I'm in that energy, because to some degree of their own, they're in shadowy energy. And if I want to have my dream come into reality, I need to be in that energy. I need to detach from an old way of viewing life and living life that I used to think was just and fair, and I maybe could have thought and could have been repeating a pattern where I was very loving and nurturing. And isn't that what loving, nurturing people do? And they go find people who are more maybe more motivated by ego and image or something, invest in that. And then that's a more shadowy Taurus relationship where it's more transactional. Well, I have this, you have that. We should exchange resources. And it's like, I don't believe in that philosophy anymore. High vibe Taurus is where we appreciate what each other brings to the table. What they bring to the table isn't more important than what I bring to the table. And I don't diminish what they bring to the table, and they don't diminish what I bring to the table. And they could have more of these things of the world. I could have more abundance in love and hope and faith, but we work together to bring a dream into reality, both based on being inspired by truth and love. You know, just because some people might have, just because some people might be more attractive than other people, some people could wonder, why are they in a relationship? It's like, well, they bring other things to the table that are equally as important, and I maybe don't value my looks or the way other people look as much as some other people might, you know, and they might have more status or power or influence, and the other person doesn't, and people could wonder, well, why are they in a relationship with that person? It's like, they bring other things to the table, and those things, I might have them. I don't, not looking to that someone has to have those things, because I maybe don't put as much precedent and importance on those things as other people might think I do. And I value people who are emotionally balanced and authentic and loving and warm, right? So other people don't have to understand it. But there's shadowy people. Some of them don't want to walk the talk. Some of them don't want to do love. Some of them don't want to temper their ego nature. Some of them are more about themselves. They want it to be more about themselves. They think it's just and fair. They're caught up in the illusion of who they are. They want other people to be caught up in the illusion of who they are. And there could be some people in the world right now trying to work through that and get out of more codependent energy, or a more being codependent on other people in their life, or having the world view them a certain way, to really love and believe in themselves, to want to live their more authentic truth. Because the whole thing is, the world is going to judge you regardless, based more on who they are. And why would I try to people please people to try to get them to view me a certain way if they're not really a person who's motivated and inspired to value people based on the type of person they are, and like they have to fit in a certain mold? Why do I want to hang out with them? I think I'll let you hang out with other people who fit in the mold, because High Vibe Aquarius is, I'm willing to step out of societal norms to bring needed change to the world. And I'm not. Shadowy Taurus can be all these like rules and regulations and all these things that some people could have told us were important, that we should make our life about. Some of it is unspoken. But everybody has the free will to live their life, and for other people that might have been more important to them. And we can look around the world and we see how different people live their life, and all these things that the world tells them. Oh, you should have short hair, you should have long hair, you should show your hair, you shouldn't show your hair. Oh my goodness, you should cover up your wrists or your ankles. You should show your feet. You shouldn't show your feet. You should dance. You shouldn't dance. You should sing. You shouldn't sing. You know, you should dance. You shouldn't dance. It's just like, oh my gosh. You know what? I think there's a higher truth and justice to aspire to. And everybody has their free will of how they view the world and all the rules and regulations they adhere to. I think there's a higher truth and justice and high vibe energy. God wants to give birth to new things, but some people always want to keep things staying the same. Well, I think God gave us our creative, inspired, intuitive nature because God wants to keep giving birth to new things. The devil wants us to keep repeating old patterns where we don't give birth to anything new. And I am going to listen to my more creative, inspired, intuitive nature And it might be against the norm or a friend group or a family group or a community. But I can't keep my more creative, inspired nature suppressed, because that's what the devil's about. It makes you feel limited, restricted, confined, oppressed, imprisoned. That is not my truth. That might be your philosophy of life. That's not my philosophy of life. Those might be all the things that limit and constrict and restrict you. If that's how you want to live your life and you find that emotionally fulfilling, or to go be more immature and impulsive and reckless, hey, you go do you. Everybody's got free will. There are just ramifications and consequences for it. And I'm going to go live my authentic life. And if that's not your truth and you don't want to move forward with me or be in a friendship or relationship with me anymore, okay, I'll work through it. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Virgo energy that they might not see coming? They've detached from being in their ego about past dreams that they had, and they're willing to move forward and invest in a new dream. They are authentically emotionally detached and ready to move forward. Some other shadowy people aren't, but it's just to try to get in a new relationship. And if any of those people come towards Virgo, Virgo's going to like stop right there before you go any further. And they're going to get to know people to find out, because the wands in the, like this being like the Six of Wands, to get to know people, to find out what their truth is. Are they really emotionally more independent from their friend and their family group and their ego and people from their past, or are they not? And if they are, then those will be people they keep moving forward with, as they could meet new people, right? Or new people approach them. Like, wait a minute, I want to move forward with you. It's like, well, then you would be willing to communicate with them your truth and how you're moving forward. And some of those people might be, oh, sorry, I'm still more aligned with my more egoic nature. You're going to have to move on, I guess, without me. And I'll have to go find someone else who hasn't given birth to something new, because I'm not ready to give birth to something new. What's coming up for the high vibe people? The Five of Wands. Why? Because of the Leo Strength card. The Five of Wands, just like the Six of Wands, is Leo energy. Because you are willing to temper your ego, is what the Strength card in high vibe talks about. You tempered your own fears and insecurities about letting your more creative, inspired, loving, hopeful, believing nature guide your decisions, than letting your more codependent, fearful of giving birth to something new, and kind of indulging poor behavior in yourself or others. Because of that, doing all that work within yourself, the fives talk about change. You've changed. You're not the same person you were before. Some other people in your life, they're going to move forward in new jobs, new friendships, new relationships, but they're basically have the same philosophy of life and way of being that they had in the last job, friendship, or relationship, because they weren't willing to put an end to their illusions, kind of get to the truth of it, to change. So they're probably hiding why some job, friendships, and relationships didn't work out, because they kind of don't want people to know that people who were more motivated and inspired to not operate from their ego, they couldn't manipulate those people. Those people harnessed high vibe Taurus and all these other energies in a more high vibe way. And they kind of had this illusion. Shadowy Taurus is more stubborn, unwilling to budge, maybe unwilling to be more just and fair, are kind of in their ego and a little more competitive and try to manipulate and control people. And they're going to go repeat the pattern somewhere else, and probably other people are going to have a problem working with them. And they might have some other people, if they try to create this illusion about who they are, detaching from them. The Five of Wands comes after the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands, in your Aries energy of self, you were inspired to change. So you were inspired to work through the inner conflict and the emotional confusion, and you did this work within yourself to no longer be in illusions, maybe about a Libra or just people that you thought would be more just and fair, but they weren't. And you kind of realized you had illusions about the person they were, and they could have tried to create an illusion and confuse you about the truth of who they were. Or just at some point in time, people can drive their life off into the ditch and they're not the person they were before. Either way, you have worked through it. So in your Four of Wands foundation of self, you add the one wand. You are ready to move forward in life differently. You changed. You are more balanced within yourself and more inspired within yourself to move forward in life differently. You have no interest in repeating some old way of interacting or viewing life or living life. And because you've changed, some of the people who kind of wanted to keep moving forward with you see that you're not willing to indulge them if they're not tempering their ego and high vibe Leo illuminating the truth, working together with you in a more loving, authentic, just and fair way, then you're wishing them peace and you're moving on. And those people then could have some inner conflict about it because they were used to you being the way you were and them being able to manipulate you and cause you inner conflict. Loving people don't try to manipulate me and cause me inner conflicts. So I see who is aligned with the competition, shadowy energy, and who's more motivated and inspired by truth and love. And I'm working with the people who are in high vibe energy versus shadowy energy. And the shadowy people will not like it. And they will probably try to think of all these new ways that they can try to cause you inner conflict. And it's like, you do you, and I'm not going to let it bother me. I just see the truth that you act in maybe more petty, immature, competitive, egoic, and you know, shadowy energy can be where people aren't seeing things clearly. They're playing games to try to manipulate and control people, and other people see through the games. And they keep thinking, oh, I bet this is causing them inner conflict. Oh, I bet I can keep doing this. And I bet they won't love and believe in themselves. And by the time they finally see the truth, you're already gone. And they're like, what? Well, I thought I was manipulating them. I thought they were hurt. I thought they were in their ego. And while they were wasting all their time playing these immature ways of being, the other people were working on emotionally detaching from them. And then if those people come towards you, it's like, no. You know, I think we've kind of reached a good place. I think this, the kind of where our relationship is, kind of works for me. And, you know, I've kind of moved on and I've kind of had a new beginning, and I'm putting in work and effort to bring this dream into reality, working with some other people. So I wish you peace. And then they'll be mad and they'll have to maybe go stay in a relationship maybe with some of the people that they could have used to try to manipulate and control you. It's like, well, those people were so important for you to hang out with. I guess go keep hanging out with them. Okay. There's always going to be, you're going to have a new beginning. You're not letting people get you caught up in your ego and your competitive nature or egoic nature. You stay focused on truth and love. Let those people play their games. Assume other people will see the truth of who they are. And you keep living your truth. And there's going to be other people that are inspired to move forward with you in that way. Work through some of their fears and insecurities of having more hope and faith and belief in themselves. And tempering their ego. You know, oh, I can't manipulate you. It's not more about me. I can't control you. It's like, no. But you can go get in a relationship like that with someone else who is kind of more about those things, and they're like, no, I want to be in a relationship with you. I am willing to temper my more fearful nature or egoic nature to work together with you in that way. What's coming up for the more worldly, shadowy people that they don't see coming? The Empress, the Ace of Wands, and the Temperance card. Why? Because of the Five of Swords. Oops. You know, when people are more shadowy, are maybe more emotionally shallow and superficial, but let's invest in the illusion. It looks like we have justice in the world. We look victorious and successful. We should keep staying in this relationship or whatever. You know, they can always have had people in their life who had mental conflict about loving themselves and being more inspired to kind of get more balance within themselves and love and believe in themselves. Or just had mental conflict about moving away from these more shadowy people because they did view them as a loving person, but as time goes by, they see that the people they viewed as loving over time, they kind of realize are just a little bit more about themselves, and they want other people to make it a little bit more about them. And then kind of realizing that, again, people could use the fact the Five of Swords is Aquarius energy. Like, you're kind of more codependent on me maybe than I'm codependent on you to bring that dream in relationship. So I think you'll keep kind of indulging me. And some high vibe people in their life in the Temperance card have been being very patient with people, trying to encourage them to kind of get maybe more balance within themselves, quit being more about themselves or these things of the world, because shadowy Empress energy emotionally can be about people who kind of are a little bit more about themselves, like to be more indulged, or in their more shadowy Libra Taurus energy, they are kind of more caught up in the world and the ego and the image, or a little full of themselves. And eventually some of the high vibe people in their life realize, I can't change other people. I've been trying to get them to work together with me in a more just and fair and balanced way. And they keep being inspired to keep, their truth is different than my truth. The way they want to keep taking action in the world is different than how I want to take action. And we can't move forward to bring a dream into reality. I want to move forward in like truth and love and justice and fairness, and they kind of want to move forward with it being about more about them or these things of the world. Our truth is different. And eventually the high vibe people in their life balance out their own mental conflict about it. And it's kind of like that judgment day. One day is going to be the last time I try to make an offer for you to work with me, to be more inspired to work with me to bring this dream into reality. And if you don't, I'm willing to deal with the truth of it, and I'm going to wish you peace, and I'm going to move on to go get in relationships with people who I think are more inspired. Temperance is fire sign energy, who are more inspired by more than just these things of the world, or being more about themselves, who are more balanced and more inspired by truth and love. And then some of these people will think, oh, there'll be someone else because I have this certain status or image or look a certain way. There'll be other people who want to be in a relationship with me. And yeah, if they just want to be in a relationship to be in a relationship, you know, anybody could probably find people who want to be in a relationship with them, depending on what they're willing to, how much they're willing to work on someone to kind of manipulate them, or indulge someone, or, you know, just be in a relationship. And what they don't see coming, if they keep not working through this idea that they have, that kind of more either about looking for someone to indulge them, they'll find someone who's willing to come play that role in their life. But that person it's more for their reasons. So what the shadowy people don't see is when they had the opportunity to grow up and mature themselves and temper their more immature self-indulgent nature, they weren't willing to, and people moved on. But there's other people who are will be willing to, but maybe for their own reasons. This works for me for whatever reason. Again, it's good for my ego and my image. I might not love you. I might present myself as loving, but I could be doing it just because I'm trying to manipulate someone else. I'm trying to get someone else in their competitive energy, in their egoic nature. I really might want to be in a relationship with someone else. If you think I'm going to keep well, I guess that would be more of a high vibe person. If you think I'm going to keep indulging you forever, you're wrong. But they might find someone who wants to win at all costs. That's what shadowy Five of Swords can be. And if it's good for my ego and my image, yeah, I'll indulge you in a relationship. What do you have that makes me kind of look victorious and successful, or that makes me kind of look like a shining star? Really, is that what we want? Is for someone to be in a relationship with us, not because they love us, but because it benefits them or makes them, I don't know. I guess some people would, as long as those people are willing to indulge them in the way they want to be indulged. I don't know. I think I'd rather be in a relationship based being on being authentic and loving, not where someone is in a relationship with me more out of their fear or their insecurity or their pride or their ego or their image or their status, that it could bring to them or something. But for other people, it's like, I don't care. I don't really want to do love anyway. And this looks good. Well, again, other people could have inner conflict about staying in a relationship and friendships with them because they could feel like people are being bossy and controlling of another person who they don't think is just and fair. Someone is kind of, for some reason, caught up in being in a relationship with them, and other people can see that the other person is kind of just manipulating them for their reasons. I don't know. I think the people who end up hanging out with them are other people who have mental conflict of being more authentic, who could get in relationships and stay in relationships more for the ego and the image or the status. And other people are like, oh my God, this is shadowy Scorpio. It's superficial and shallow. And I don't want to keep hanging out with people who are like that. But they could have other people that are more like them, and they have some lessons to learn, and for them to realize, unless I will want to keep staying more immature, if I'm not willing to grow up and mature myself, the people who I'm going to get in relationship with are like that. And unless they're willing at some point in time to grow up and mature themselves and get out of their ego, that I don't want to be in relationships that are more intimidating or controlling or immature. Well, again, the only person I can change is me. And if they ever get willing to do that, because some of these people could be just people who are a lot younger than you, like your adult children or something, and they got to go learn these lessons on their own, and hopefully they'll learn it. But we can all be tempted to stay in our comfort zone. And if it looks good by worldly standards, it's like, well, everybody's got free will to live their life in whatever way they find emotionally fulfilling. I found out that wasn't my truth, and that's not how I'm living my life. And I think there's other people in the world that are on the same page as me, and those are the people I would rather go invest my time, energy, and effort into. So I wish you peace. Hope it works out for you. But I'm going to go find people who I think are more on the same page as me. So there you go, Virgo. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.